Oh, he's had a go at that one. That one he has it well. That one's
Sailing way down and coming right at you. Not sailing, but flying on the airwaves of Radio Azad. It's the Sports Spotlight with your host, Rizwan. Good morning. It is Sunday morning. It's a glorious Sunday morning. This is that time. It's not quite summer yet. Yeah, it's starting to get warm. It starts to get into the mid 80s, but it's not the summer as those of you who live here in the DFW area or anywhere in Texas for that matter know summer to be. It's not quite that yet. It's coming. It's coming. And these days, while enjoyable, portend of that June, July, really. July is when things get really bad. July and August coming. But right now, all we can do is enjoy these beautiful mornings as it's not quite that bad yet. All right. Welcome. Sports Spotlight coming right at you as always every Sunday between 10 a.m. and noon. Right now, oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. I know I've gotten so used to starting with the cricket highlights, but I think what we need to start with today.
Second to Golden State. They've been held in check tonight.
Yeah, you hear the squeak of the sneakers, the slash to the basket by that was Giannis. Great stuff, man. NBA in full swing. The Western Final Game 7 took place last night. And boy, oh boy, was it a doozy. Boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. And to talk about all of that and more with me right now on the airwaves of Radio Azad, I got my good buddy and a wonderful basketball mind, Manny from Kansas City. Ain't no basketball team, not pro, in Kansas City, but boy, oh boy, does this guy know his basketball. Manny, good morning. How are you, man?
Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk, Rizwan, how are you?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, right? There
We
ain't
got
no,
basketball in Kansas. What are you talking about?
yeah, ain't no pro basketball, but boy, oh
Okay, yeah.
boy, there's
The
basketball.
Sacramento Kings, they left a long time ago.
Yes. All right. We're going to talk all about the craziness of this. I was about to say the craziness of the Western Conference, but really we saw some craziness in the Eastern Conference as well, just of the polar opposite kind. So let's talk about the West right now. We had a just a back and forth series culminate last night with that game 7. Let's dive right into it. What did you see in this winner take all, loser go home game 7 of and I understand that the Oklahoma City Thunder are the defending champs, but these are young up and coming teams with bright futures ahead. So it really was it was a complete changing of the guard with this Western Conference Finals. What did you see in that game 7 last night?
Well, let me tell you what I didn't see. Has anyone seen Chet Holmgren?
Well, only when he's holding Wembanyama.
Yeah, he's still missing. I know the local Oklahoma City police put an all-point bulletin. I think they're still looking for him. They haven't found him. I did see him briefly in the press conference after the game, but I did not see him on the court. Must have missed him.
Yeah.
He had 4 points. Yeah,
I mean,
what I didn't see. He did not show up. Who did show up was the MVP, not the one who should have got the MVP, but the current MVP with Shai Alexander, Shildis Alexander. He did show up. He had a good game, but no, man, there's definitely a changing of the guard in the Western Conference Finals, and maybe at least a year or two earlier than most people had planned. So yes. Wembenyana, we all got to start getting used to saying his name right.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to. I know a lot of people just resort to Wemby.
Yeah,
I'm saying understand his name, learn his name, and get his name right because we're going to be saying it for a long, long time.
You better recognize. I mean, guy is 22 years old.
Whew.
We could devote the next 2 hours just talking about Wemby and what this means. And we should. I mean, he deserves his accolades. I think, to be honest, man, I really think deep down in his heart, he thought maybe he was going to get the MVP for the regular season. And you saw that on the, what was it, game 6 or 5? I think it was 6, where they crowned, Shai Alexander as the MVP. And you could tell something did not sit right with him. And he wanted to prove that he was the deserved, winner of that accolade. So, what can you say about Wembanyama?
Look,
this guy,
7'4".
Everyone talks about, his length and his size, and even his, perimeter ability with the shots he's making on the logo threes. Honestly, the one thing I think that sets him apart than almost anyone else in the league now or in the past is his mentality of wanting to win, wanting to be the champion, competitiveness. Like, at a young age, that doesn't come that maybe only Michael Jordan, where maybe even at Carolina, he was so competitive against James Worthy and some of the seniors he was on the team with. But Wemby is coming in with not only all the pressure that LeBron had when he was coming to the NBA, but also any pressure you may put on a Shaquille or a Kareem or a Olajuwon or any of the other bigs, because he's got the size as well. But I think what really sets him apart, Rizwan, is his competitiveness. A skill set aside, that's not something you can coach. The mentality to be like Kobe, to go back and play with your game to get better and better. That's what's going to be scary, man. To be 22 years old, he has now arrived, and this is going to be his league. And God willing, he stays healthy like LeBron did 20 years. All these records that LeBron just amassed, man, they're now in jeopardy, bro. With Wemby, what he can do, put 40 and 20 up. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, without even trying.
Crazy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, for our listeners, I wanna go back to something we talked about. I think it was about 5-6 weeks ago, right? As the regular season was concluding, the playoffs were getting going. We talked about at 22, in his third year, at this point, this player had more points at this point than
some of the greats.
Who was it? It was LeBron. It was more points than LeBron did at this point.
Right.
More rebounds than
Charles.
than
Barkley.
And more 3-pointers made than Steph Curry.
And more blocks than Olajuwon.
Yeah.
At that stage. So what he's doing, man,
it's a video game, man.
is up against like some of the best in history. So he's only going to get better. This is a coming out party, and this is a sense of validation for him and his team as well. What he's able to do, get them to the finals, and then to get to the finals by beating the champ. To be the champ, you got to be the man, right? So yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said, Texas, you guys have another team, okay, to root for. You don't have to live in Dallas to root for San Antonio. That's a first-class organization. All those years that Popovich was leading them. And that's another thing, Rizwan. I really like seeing the camaraderie where all the old, past players come and Coach Pop is in the stand. I love seeing that, not only from the
Tim Duncan
that they're giving the San Antonio Spurs to this team, but also even on the other side, how the Knicks have been really supporting, the run that the New York Knicks have been having on the East. So yeah, that's
we're going to talk about that.
Well.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute, man. So look, he's definitely ahead of schedule, right? He wasn't supposed to get this good this quick, or at least, not in a historical context. When you look at these players and you talk about some of the all-time greats, outside of LeBron and maybe even Kobe, but even Kobe as an 18-year-old coming into the NBA, it took him 3 to 4 years to get going.
Right.
But Wemby has just come in, and he was great as a rookie. He was really good last year, and boy, oh boy, this year he's just killing it.
And I think one thing I can credit that to, not only obviously his mentality and his size and so on, I really credit the Euro leagues, right? They're really getting an advantage over the U.S. Atmosphere, right? Because we don't really get going until the NBA. Now, yes, there's a really high level of skills in the March Madness and the college level, but you're still only playing against other college players. In Europe, you're already getting some of the NBA players that aren't on the leagues anymore, so they go to Europe and play. So the level of competition is on a whole other level for an 18, 19-year-old pro player in Europe versus the ones out here. So that's why we've seen like the all-stars from the other countries have just dominated, right? The last few years, the MVP, whether it's Luka or now with Shai from Canada. I think, that's one thing I credit Wemby's just really fast development is the time he had before coming to the NBA in Europe. That really made him that much better as well.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, first off, in his third year at 22 years of age, he gets a unanimous Defensive Player of the Year award, right? We can hold off the MVP discussion for off season, whether he was more deserving or not. I think he was just for what he means, regardless of how much talent this team has.
Yeah.
I think we saw Oklahoma, and I said I wasn't going to talk about it. Now we're talking about it. We saw Oklahoma City miss some games, right, leading into the All-Star game from Shai, and still excel.
Yeah.
Right? Shai is, look, before I get absolutely destroyed by the online folks here, I am not saying that Jay Will can replace Shai, but Jay Will filled in well as the leader of that team, the cog that makes things work, and taking on the load offensively while Shai was missing.
Sure.
But Wemby missing, even with all this talent, with Castle, with Champagne, with Vassell, with the Rook, Harper, right? All these players. You take Wemby off this team, it's not nearly as dominating. It's not nearly as scary. It just isn't.
No way.
Right?
No way.
Oklahoma
Not
City.
with that inside presence, man.
Yeah, both offensively and defensively. So I hate what the MVP award has become, not just in the NBA, but across sports.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, literally, it's in the name, most valuable player, right? This is in team sports. We have this concept of an award called the most valuable player. So what are we trying to figure out? We're trying to figure out who is the player that is most valuable to their team. So if you can take Shai off the team and the team goes from 100 to a 92 versus taking Wemby off the team and the team goes from 100 to 85, 82,
It'd
right?
be like 100 to 50.
Yeah. Now, I understand that line of argument. It always comes back to Jokic, right? If we use that argument, you take Jokic off that Denver team, they're winning 24 games. That might be too much, but they're not winning more than 30 games on that team without Jokic, because he is the lifeblood. So there is an argument to be made that the MVP should just be delivered to Jokic at the beginning of the season until he retires or until his skills diminish, right? Because of what he means. But I also understand, I'm enough of a realist that we can't just be giving the MVP to the same player for 12 years. Like, it's just,
let's not do that.
Yeah. But between these two, I really, really, really thought that Wemby was more valuable to his team than Shai was.
Absolutely.
And hopefully the voters see it that way by next year. But boy, oh boy, regardless of whether he got the MVP or not, he's got a shot at getting the finals MVP that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does not, because Wemby showed up, the team showed up in this Game 7, all-important Game 7, winner-take-all Game 7, and they started off last night. You know, we've talked about what this means, but we haven't talked about the game itself last night. They started off, they came out, you know, this was, look, they were down 3-2. So they had to win at home, which they did, right? And did so handily. almost in blowout fashion, putting up 118 on the Thunder in that game 6, right? It was quite phenomenal. But we kind of knew that was going to happen, outside of a couple of games that each team, actually, no, just the one game that San Antonio stole on the road,
Game 1.
game 1. This is kind of, everything they'd held serve, right? For the most part, close-ish games, and then that game 6 kind of got away from the Thunder. But everybody was like, well, it was in San Antonio, it was game 6, it's still game 7, Thunder at home, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. But boy, oh boy, they
They
looked
were
anything
behind quick.
but fine. Yeah, right off the bat, they got things. The San Antonio got things cooking, and I totally understand. They're missing Jay Will, right? That's he's a big part of. It's not quite the 1-2 punch, but it's Jay Will is right there. It's not quite the Michael Jordan Pippen comparison here, but I mean, Jay Will, when he's on there, this is a different team. The way he can slash, the way he can actually defend, the way he can space things, the way he can open things up.
And the perimeter shot, like his shot's been really good outside the arc as well.
Yeah, and that's what opens things up for Shea a lot. Right. For allowing him to flop more. Sorry, did I say that out loud? We'll get to that in a sec. So yes, they were missing somebody, but this game, the last 2 games of this series, overall series, this was not as much about what Oklahoma City was missing. It was more about what San Antonio was dealing, what they were bringing to the court, and what they were doing with all this talent that they've been able to amass. I was going through those names. I didn't even mention Castle.
Dude, Castle and Vassell. They look similar, but I think Castle, he's clearly like a really good another option.
I mean,
on
he
that
was
team.
He was the rookie of the year, man.
Yeah,
he was the rookie of the year
and
last year.
Harper, man, I love that guy's game. Ron Harper's son is gonna be trouble in this league, man. He's gonna be trouble.
Absolutely. All right, so that's where we are. That's one half of the NBA Finals, right? San Antonio Spurs cemented themselves their spot in the finals coming up, and it's actually not that far away. It's going to start on Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay, Wednesday. So they do get a little bit of respite. Well, a team that's been resting forever and ever, it feels like, because they wrapped things up quickly.
New York, we outside.
New York's back, man. New York is back. And
I can't wait. I've been a Knicks fan since I've been a Bills fan, like the 90s. Okay?
Wow.
So I am really excited, man.
A lot of heartbreak in the late 90s, right?
Thanks to your Bulls.
Just couldn't get past could not get past the Bulls. Even once Michael was away and they did get past the Bulls, then they ran into Olajuwon and Houston, and they made short work of them. So yeah, look, New York is back. The Knicks are back. The Knicks are dominating, and the way they absolutely, it's not even, I was thinking about this. I wanted to say the way they dominated, but it doesn't do it justice. The way they demolished Cleveland, right? The way they demolished, and you could see the will of the Cleveland Cavaliers being sapped away.
You know when it happened? Game 1, when they should have
that
won,
overtime.
Right?
Yes.
Down by 22 points in the third or fourth, and to let the Knicks come back and win that game.
Yeah, it was midway through the third when they had that 22-point lead.
That's what it was. That's what broke them, man. After that, they were like,
yeah. I mean, they basically rolled over. That second game, one might say, second and third game, that they were close from a score standpoint, 109-93 and 121-108. but they weren't that close. They really just, I mean, you're absolutely right. I think you hit the nail on the head. That overtime loss just broke them, and they never could recover.
I think that's one of the biggest playoff comeback ever. Okay, if it's not the number one comeback, that many points, it's maybe the second ever largest comeback.
Yeah, but
history,
it's also the magnitude, right? That makes a difference. Where
in the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yeah, where it happened. First game, setting the tone. Eastern Conference Finals, right? That was huge. Being down
Same
that
thing with
much.
the Western Conference when Wemby hit that logo three late in the first game to go to overtime. That's when the series kind of changed already, right? Everyone was like, "Holy cow!" But yeah, absolutely right. Game ones are so important. That's why Game 1 Wednesday is must-watch TV, man. I do believe this finals is going to 7 games, by the way.
Well, so we'll get to that in a second.
Sorry.
No worries. Let's talk about what they did. So yes, they steal that game. It seems odd to say steal because they were at home, right. But they were at home down 22 points in the third quarter. I think it might have been closer to late third, not even midway through the third. And to be able to steal that away, which was virtually a sure loss. And imagine what that does to the series, right? If you come in and you lose at home Game 1, what does that do to the series? I think that gives Cleveland all the confidence, but more importantly, even if then Cleveland loses the second one, they've got the advantage. They've stolen one on the road. They're going home with a tied series 1-1. And it's a whole different ball game. So they showed a little bit of fight at home, a little bit of fight in that third game. Again, the final was 121-108.
Yeah.
So barely in today's NBA, winning by double digits, if it's 10, 11, 12 points, it's not the same as what it used to mean to win a game by double digits. It just isn't. Right. But the thing is, they showed that fight late because coming off of that, to your point, that overtime thrilling victory, the Knicks kept rolling. The Knicks kept rolling after being up 2-0, came into Cleveland and scored 37 points right off the bat.
Absolutely demolished them, man. Like I said, everything was over after Game 1. When they made that comeback, you could tell something happened with Donovan Mitchell. Now, I will say, and let's talk about this, James Harden may go down as one of the best offensive players of all time because of, his step back and everything else he does. But man, what a liability on the other end. You saw that, right? In this series, you saw how he could not stop New York, the man he was guarding, whoever they switched up on. And that's where I see Cavaliers really not being able to do anything. They were just giving up anything, whoever James was guarding. And maybe it's time for him to hang it up here soon, right?
I think it is. Look, is he going to hang around for another couple of years? I think so. I think he's 35, 36 years old. He's going to hang around for a couple more years. At least
another year or two.
Somebody's going to continue to look at his offensive.
Right? He brings, offensive scoring, and for sure, he's up there still. He's still producing well as a good second option.
Yeah, but that defensive liability that you pointed out, absolutely, that's just going to kill you. That's going to kill you. And more importantly, it's look, I don't want to pile on a guy when he's down, but we talked about it beforehand. We talked about it in the previous series. We talked about it at the beginning of this series, right? When the chips are down, does Harden come through more often or not? And I think it's or not. He does
Absolutely.
not. He just
He's
does
improved
not.
a little bit. Like he got as far as he did, but like his defensive lack of that prowess is what really did it. So maybe if he's going to still play another year or two, get some
get better on the off season on your defensive assignments and just be a little better. Like, one thing I do fault, not James here, but his coach. In that game, man, when he started seeing like they couldn't stop who James was guarding, go ahead and take him out.
Yeah.
Put a better defensive, so that's where coaching, and they're humans too. Like,
but that's where coaching
they're
comes in.
readjust and think and whatever. But
Hey, Manny.
no, there's something to be said about in-game, pivots. And
Yeah.
that's where the coaching
That's
staff
where
was
the-
lacking from Cleveland.
That's where the greats make their mark. That's why there was no Phil Jackson, there was no Popovich
yeah,
out
that's
there.
exactly
We do
right.
have to take a break. We're gonna come right back and jump right back into this conversation and talk about how we see this finals shaping up. You're listening to the Sports Spotlight right here on Radio Azad with your host Rizwan and Manny.
This is Radio Azad, streaming in Dallas, Fort Worth, and all around the world.
आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो आजाद हम सफर